All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And good evening, one and all, and welcome back to the X Zone. I am Rob McConnell, and for the next 2 hours, I'm your host and your guide as together we will cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X Zone. It's a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. And the X Zone comes to you Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until midnight, right here from the broadcast center and studios of the X Zone Broadcast Network in St. Catharines, Ontario, and on your hometown radio, Classic 1220, streaming around the world on classic1220.ca. If you'd like to send me an email, my email address is xzone@classic1220.ca. X Zone Nation, my first guest tonight is Catherine, and she is with the Denver Paranormal Research Society. Now, the Denver Paranormal Research Society, X Zone Nation, is they investigate paranormal activity such as spirits activities in homes and businesses. And their website is, are you ready for this? Do you have your pencils and paper ready? Because I don't want you to go there right now. I'd like you to listen to the show. So the website is denverparanormal.com. Joining me now is Catherine. And Catherine, welcome to the X Zone.
Hi, thank you. It's nice to be here. I'm excited.
Nice having you with us. Catherine, tell us a little bit about yourself and what brought you into investigating the strange, the weird, the haunted, the ghostly, as well as things that go bump in the night.
I think it all started when I was a child.
Mm-hmm.
And I had parents that I think encouraged it because I grew up in a Catholic household.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the belief of good and evil,
Yep.
angels, demons, that sort of thing. So it was kind of like just a part of life. And I just wanted more. I wanted to find out, what are these? Who is this? You know, what is going on? I wanted answers. So yeah, it all started when I was a child, and finally I got to put my dream in play, and been doing this for going on. Well, this is our 17th year.
Wow. What was your first encounter with the paranormal?
I would have to say it was actually at my parents' home.
Mm-hmm.
It was just something. There was always something going on in the home. Did not know what it was, but it was like this thing that kind of lived behind the record player.
Oh yeah.
And you couldn't really see it, but you could see it in your mind. And it impacted, my brothers and sisters, and they could see it. I could not see it, but they were very terrified of it. And so I had to find out. Never did find out, by the way,
But you tried, and I think that's the main thing, that when it comes to the paranormal, that people who are inquisitive have the desire to find out, and I believe that is half the battle.
Yes, definitely.
Mm-hmm. I don't know of any children out there who have never they've been afraid about the monster in the closet or the monster under the bed. So, why do you think that there are some people that are more in tune with the paranormal than others?
I think it just has to do with probably your lack of fear
Mm-hmm.
and your curiosity level. Um, and I'm more of a factual based person, so I want to know the facts. I mean, I don't like if somebody tells me something. Let's just say, they saw, a ghost in their home,
Right.
and a lot of people do. Um, I have to investigate it. Like, let's find out if that's really what it is. It could be something else. It could be something we can explain.
How
So, yeah, I'm
how
sorry.
haunted is Denver?
It's pretty haunted.
Why would you say that? Is it because it's history, or is it just because it's near the Rockies? It could be a ley line. It could be a geomagnetic field. What do you think it is?
I I've done a lot of research in the state of Colorado
Mm-hmm.
itself, and it has a volatile history.
Oh,
And I'm thinking, just the world in general. I mean, we're not the first ones here, so this Colorado itself has a lot of volatile history, and so you're as time goes on, you build on top of it.
yeah, I would imagine
Um,
so.
yeah.
What has been your most interesting case as the member of the Denver Paranormal Research Society, Catherine?
I would have to say an animal hospital that we investigated has been our most interesting because we had to do, I want to say, about 4 investigations, 4 or 5, to try to get to the bottom of it. And what started out as the two of the workers there got chased outside by an entity as they were closing up for the night. They reached out to us. And so what started out is that
Mm-hmm.
we did the first investigation and we started like uncovering a lot more that was going on. We never came face to face with that entity, but it was the pounding on that was coming from the ceilings, um, that just a lot of sounds as far as there was a lot more going on there. It was I we did chalk it up to
Mm-hmm.
being like a residual haunting, but there was more going on there as well. We, with the use of our tools, communication tools, we had found out that there was more than one. I'm going to use the term spirit just for the sake of this call.
So how did you implement the investigation? What tools did you use during this investigation?
So we have a couple of spirit boxes. We use EMF readers, cameras,
Mm-hmm.
motion detectors. We'll use anything from like a candle to toys like Hot Wheels tracks, a ball, wind chimes. So we had cameras set up everywhere. It was 2 levels, so we had cameras on the top level and the bottom level as well.
What were the Hot Wheels tracks for?
So you put you set that up kind of like at an angle, and you're hoping that one of the spirit visitors would
Mm-hmm.
kind of like tap it and then make the little car go down.
Oh, I
So
see.
anything, even it's like the ball, you want to put the ball right there,
Mm-hmm.
and you always have a camera facing everything that you want to capture.
So,
Some
so
activity.
something that would show that there is activity in that location, that it could not
Correct.
have been done by anyone else except who or whatever is there.
Correct.
Gotcha. Now, the
Yes.
fact that this was a former or an existing veterinary clinic, where I'm sure animals are euthanized. And that's the hardest part about being an animal owner. Do you think that this had a play in what was going on?
That could very well be it. We just had some weird stuff, and I think we did hear some cats crying, and there were no cats there,
Right.
not physically. The only one that was there was housed. It was part of the veterinary hospital itself, and it was put in a room to keep quiet. But we did hear things like that, so that could very well be. Yeah.
How did you finally come to a successful conclusion of this investigation?
Well, I did a lot of research. I went to their local library, their local history museum, to figure out what if we could not figure out what was making the loud banging sounds. We did check with roofers. We did check with the heating and air conditioning company. So we had to. It was a process of elimination. So when we couldn't figure out, okay, that could not be causing it. The ceiling itself,
Right.
the heating and the air when it kicked on. Because we did several investigations with it on and then with it off. So it was the fact that when we did all the research and found that it was sitting actually on top of old mining grounds.
Okay.
And so it was our conclusion that it was just a high possibility that this was a residual haunting, and what we were hearing, all that banging sounds, did come from, the miners back in the days,
But if it
yeah,
was,
it's. I'm sorry.
but if the veterinarian clinic was built on top of the mine, and if the mine was haunted, wouldn't the sound be coming from beneath and not above?
Well, I mean, you would think,
Yeah.
but nothing is an exact science.
Isn't
when
that
it
the
comes,
truth?
Yeah,
Isn't
to the
that-
paranormal. It's very odd. Yeah.
Catherine, please stand by. You and I have to take our first break. And X Zone Nation, our guest this hour is Catherine. She's with the Denver Paranormal Society. And if you'd like to contact anybody with the Denver Paranormal Research Society, their website is denverparanormal.com. This is the X Zone. I'm Rob McConnell. We're coming to you on the X Zone Broadcast Network from St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada. And you're listening to us right here on your hometown radio, Classic 1220, streaming around the world on classic1220.ca.
All around old Cape Horn, ships of the line, ships of the morn. Some who wish they'd never been born, they are the ghosts of Cape Horn. Fall-a-rilla, riddle-de-rum, with a rim-dim-diddy and a rum-dum-dum. Sailing away at the break of dawn, they are the ghosts of Cape Horn. See them all in sad repair, demons dance everywhere, southern gales, tattered sails, and none to tell a tale. Come all of you rustic old sea dogs.
And welcome back. That's Gordon Lightfoot, Ghosts of Cape Horn. And this is the X Zone on your hometown radio, Classic 1220, and streaming classic1220.ca. Catherine is our special guest, and she is with the Denver Paranormal Society, and their website is paranormal. Oops, no, it's not. It's denverparanormal.com. Sorry about that, Catherine.
No worries.
Catherine, what are the factors when somebody contacts you and the group as to whether or not you accept or decline the investigation?
That's a really good question. So when someone reaches out to us,
Mm-hmm.
saying that they have paranormal activity in their home, something, terrible or scary, I I will, call them back and have a very long talk with them. I want to hear their story. I want to hear what's going on. And it's very important because I'm looking for different clues when they tell me their stories. And the clues meaning what sets them aside from regular paranormal activity versus maybe something that's really bad. And if it is something that I feel is really bad, I will not put us in that situation because we're not trained to deal with something that might be of maybe the demonic area. So I just listened to their story,
Mm-hmm.
and I have to say that out of all these years that that we've been doing this, I want to say that 99% of the time it's just your basic paranormal activity. If it's that. Now, it's very different. Paranormal, the paranormal world is very, very diverse anyway. It's very complicated because people don't just come calling and say, oh, I have a ghost in my home. No, they um, it could be something that you could explain away very easily. So when they come calling, it's I want to listen to the
Mm-hmm.
facts. I want to listen to what's going on. So I want to listen to how many times is it happening and what is happening and who is it happening to, because those are very important factors. Because if only one person is being affected, then I have to just take kind of like a different path on that. Now, if the whole household are experiencing something different, as far as seeing shadows maybe in the upstairs, and then they're being um, tapped on the head, downstairs or whatever. That's different. But if it's one person who's only experiencing it, but no one else in the home is experiencing it, then I'm going to lean more towards, I think there might be more of an issue with the one person. So there might be other things
Mm-hmm.
going on with the person, not necessarily paranormal.
I have to take issue with something that you said. You're a paranormal investigation team,
Hmm.
but when somebody calls you and they're reaching out to you for your help and your expertise,
Yes.
why is it that there are cases you take and cases you don't take? And how do you scrutinize? Because you yourself said that the paranormal is very strange.
Hmm.
So how do you justify it by saying even this one person who's having a paranormal event within
Hmm.
that house, they are not in fact having a true paranormal event? Or that lady who calls up and who calls you for help and you believe there's something demonic, what do you do with them? Do you just kind of leave them hanging up and saying, well, we can't help you? Or what do you do? they're
Okay,
calling they're,
so
they're
well,
calling
back
you.
to
Yeah, they're calling
your
you guys for help.
sure. Back to the first question. So any well, if the when I listen to the story
Mm-hmm.
and it fits all the criteria of, okay, there's a possibility that there is something going on, it's obviously real to them.
Right.
So we do make a visit. When we make a visit, that's when we get to meet the people in person, we get to look around, we get to talk to them a little bit further, because the paranormal is not just, people think it's just about the paranormal, and it's not. It's about the people. So, and what I mean by that is that people could be having a lot of drama in their house.
Mm-hmm.
They could be maybe taking some sort of prescribed type medicines.
Or they could be taking illicit drugs. They could be taking
Correct.
alcohol. There's a lot of different reasons. So how do you,
Right.
when you go to the house, how do you, is there an intake form? Is there an intake group of questions that you ask?
Yes, at first we used to, have them fill out, the form and so forth. But now, we kind of know what questions to ask. But we're also, I also do study people. I'm looking at them. I'm looking at their home. I want to know, like, you can just tell if, if something is just amiss somewhere. And if we can't help them because maybe, I'm not going to call somebody out on if they have, a problem with, alcohol or drugs. I'm not going to call them out on that. But I will tell them that, we cannot help them because their experiences are not as credible. It could, because if you take any type of prescribed medicine or even non-prescribed, drugs, alcohol, whatever, that can cause you, to have hallucinations or, a multitude of things.
Don't take this question wrong, but
Sure.
where do you get your qualification to make that judgment?
I don't have, that's the thing. I do not have the qualifications, but I have the experience because back, 17 years ago, we took everybody. We took every single case that came through. And that is how you learn. We put ourselves in some very uncomfortable positions. And naturally, we can't, again, it all comes down to safety, but it comes down to if we truly believe that there might be something there. And it is a fine line, but no, we don't have those qualifications. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a doctor of any sort, but it's all about credibility too. Doing this takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort, takes a lot of money. And if we happen to, appear at a home and they're partying, and they're having all this party, so forth, it's wasting a lot of our time.
Right. Has that ever happened to you where you've gone to do an investigation and people are having a party?
Yeah, it has.
How many times?
A few times.
So based on what happened a few times, does that impair your judgment when, looking at other cases because you feel it might be a party time that they're looking for, and when in actuality they're looking to you for help?
Well, we change our procedures.
Okay.
We have changed our procedures as far as when we set up the appointment to actually do the investigation. Is we let them know that please refrain from using any type of, stimulants while we do the investigation.
How many
And
members?
that's
How many
yes.
members are there of the Denver Paranormal Research Society?
Well, right now there's 3.
Oh wow! And do you each have a specific role when you go to do an investigation?
Yeah, we do. So we have one person who's like our intern. He's in training. And so he right now is learning how to use the equipment. So his name is Charles, and he does a phenomenal job on, taking pictures. He takes pictures of the inside, of the outside. And then he also has a meter. So he's in training. He uses the same equipment that we use. But Bo, he's also another person on the team as well. And he's more of the empathetic type of person who gets to know the people. And when we do the spirit box sessions, he's the one who conducts them because of his, personality to connect. And And I'm basically your analysis type person. So um, after all is said and done, I'm the one that does all the analysis on everything that we have done, and I set up the report to
Right.
provide to the person, to the people.
And how long after the investigation takes place is the analysis done, and how long does it take for the client to get the report?
I always tell them about 2 weeks. Give us about
That's a
two
good time.
weeks because it's a pretty intense. Um, it's pretty intense to evaluate everything.
You and I have to take our break
Okay.
for the bottom of the hour. Catherine, please stand by. And Exo Nation, our guest this hour is Catherine, and she is with the Denver Paranormal Research Society, and their website is denverparanormal.com. And the X Chronicles newspaper for April is still available at X Chronicles, that's XCHRONICLES.net. And if you'd like to listen to the other shows that are available to everyone on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit www.xzbn.net. The X Zone, a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard, is heard Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until midnight, right here on the X Zone Broadcast Network, and you're listening to us on your hometown radio, Classic 1220, streaming classic1220.ca. Catherine and I return on the other side of this break. Don't go away.
All around old Cape Horn, ships of the line, ships of the morn. Some who wish they'd never been born, they are the ghosts of Cape Horn. All-a-ralla, riddle-de-rum, with a rim-dim-diddy and a rum-dum-dum. Sailing away at the break of dawn, they are the ghosts of Cape Horn. See them all in sad repair, demons dance everywhere, southern gales, tattered sails, and none to tell.
Do you believe in magic in a young girl's heart? How the music can free her whenever it starts, and it's magic. If the music is groovy and makes you feel happy like an old-time movie, I'll tell you about the magic and it'll free your soul. But it's like trying to tell a stranger about a rock and roll. If you believe in magic, don't bother to choose if it's jug band music or rhythm and blues. Just go and listen. It'll start with a smile that won't wipe off your face, no matter how hard you try.
And welcome back, everyone. Catherine from the Denver Paranormal Research Society is with us, and their website is denverparanormal.com. Catherine, before you were talking about how you conduct the investigation, you mentioned something about a spirit box. Can you describe to our listeners what a spirit box is?
The spirit boxes that we use are little radios that actually they cycle through channels, through radio channels. And the theory behind that is that the spirits can manipulate those frequencies to relay the messages. And that is what we highly rely on.
Now, what kind of messages would you get from the other side using these spirit boxes? Do you have to ask them questions?
So yes, we have like a series of 10 questions that are related to the case.
Mm-hmm.
And what we do is we don't just use the spirit box, but we'll use those same questions by using like the EMF reader, one of our crystals, and then of course the spirit box. And the messages that we do get, we get a lot of yes and no answers.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we do get like 3 or 4 words answers. So it's a very fascinating type of communication tool to use, because we don't know actually who is answering, because sometimes the spirits come through might have messages for say like myself, or say like for Bo, So it's they use that tool as a way to, oh, okay, this is the time to communicate. It's not so common that they do that, but you have to expect that.
Got you. And that's called a spirit box. Do you
Yes.
people also do EVPs?
Yes. We also have our recorders with us, and we record everything from the time that we step in the door until the time that we leave. And we also um, we will listen to those recorders very, very intently throughout the whole time that we are at a place.
So you listen to the recording as it's being done while you're at the location that you're investigating?
No, that would be afterwards.
Oh, afterwards.
And
Okay.
yes, and what we're looking for, I'm sorry, what we're looking for is disembodied voices, voices that are not, known people in the room. And of course, we listen very intently when we have to go back and listen to the spirit box, because that's when you will actually hear those voices come through. It's kind of rare to actually hear them at the time that you are there. You can hear them
Right.
sometimes, but it's better to get it on the recording.
What has been your most gratifying or most satisfying investigation that you and your team have done?
I would, I love doing them all. They're all really great, but I would have to say probably that Animal Hospital was the most gratifying, because we got a chance to actually conduct several, I think, like I said, like 4 investigations over a year's time. And we got to take our time on it and actually try to figure out, get some answers for the people that work there. And it was great. It was great.
Where is the most haunted place in Denver?
Huh. That's a good question.
In your opinion?
In my opinion, I think, I would say in Colorado, the Stanley Hotel is actually very well known for paranormal activity.
And have you and your team gone there?
Yes.
Yes. And what was it like?
Well, I think when they see me coming, they take off. So.
Are you talking about your team, or are you talking about spirits?
Yeah, both. No, the spirits, I think they see me because I am like so, ambitious as to try to find them, and I think they take off. But, we've had a lot of success with, previous team members that have been with us. And then also, I attend a lot of the conferences there, and we get to do like EVP sessions with, some of the more well-known people, in the business. And it's quite fascinating. They use mediums. And so when mediums are involved, you tend to get a little bit more of that communication going. So it's fun.
Let me ask you this. Why do ghosts and spirits stick around places like the Stanley Hotel if paranormal investigators are always interrupting them?
Right? That's a good question. I mean, I've read that, the Stanley Hotel, has a lot of activity because of the limestone that it's built nearby. But, I don't know about other places. I can't speak on behalf of them. Yeah.
I'd be a lousy ghost. I really would, because I'd say, all right, pack up your bags, Laura. There's too many people here. Let's go somewhere else.
I think that's what, honestly, I think that that's what they do a lot in your basic home.
Right.
Yeah.
But in your case, it's, here comes Catherine. Let's go. She's really ambitious, and she's not going to stop turning over every piece of furniture till she finds us. Let's go.
That's right. I mean, I need to know and I want to know. So, yeah, I've been told that, because we have worked with certain mediums in the past.
Right.
And they have said, they see you coming. So,
Dum,
yeah,
da dum, dum. Here comes Catherine. Dum,
yes,
da dum, dum,
yes.
dum. Oh, no.
Yes, but there are a lot that do like me and they do hang around.
Well,
So,
that's good. That's good. Nobody wants to be an outcast, right? Especially by spirits. Um, how would you react? This is a hypothetical question, okay? How would you react if you encountered a spirit face to face?
I would probably be scared, honestly. I did see an apparition one time, and I was glad I got to see it because it gave me more insight as to what the people that contact us are feeling, because I lose sight of that. And so I have to encounter something like that to remind myself that it is scary. It really is.
What was the apparition like? Can you tell us a little bit about the experience?
Yes, I was in a friend's home. I was in the basement, and I was just working on my laptop. And when I looked up towards the basement, in front of me, it looked like a female. It was like a typical apparition that people would describe, just floating by, just walking. But of course, it wasn't walking, but you could see it. And it happens so fast. Even though it's slow, it's still fast. So I got up and I tried to follow it. Of course, it was already gone, but it did scare me. So when I looked around the corner to the stairs, looking up the stairway, there was a dog sitting there at the top of the stairway, just looking down. And I turned around and I came back and I thought, you know what? I would not want to encounter that when it's dark. This was not during the night. This was during the day.
Was there any paranormal activity before you went there?
No, no.
Is it possible you brought something with you that something attached itself to you?
I don't know. I know for a fact that doing this type of business, I have brought things home with me.
Yeah, I used to do that too, but my wife said I couldn't bring any more friends home with me.
Yeah, it's a lot of things, and it again. I need those type of things to remind me of what people are experiencing, because it's scary when you first see something or experience something like that.
Now, the fact that there had not been any paranormal activity prior to you having this experience with the apparition, has there been any paranormal activity since then?
In that one home,
Yeah.
my friend has moved out since then.
Wow.
So don't know. Yeah.
All right, you and I have to take our final break for this hour. First of all, it's great talking to you, and beautiful country, Colorado. I've flown over Colorado many times on our way to Hawaii and other destinations, and it's just a beautiful state and super great people. So thank you very much for joining us.
Sure.
All right, you stand by, and Exo Nation, once again, Catherine from the Denver Paranormal Research Society is our guest this hour. And she's in Aurora, Colorado, and if you'd like to find out more about the Denver Paranormal Research Society, visit their website, www.denverparanormal.com. When we come back, we're going to be wrapping up this hour with our guest, Catherine, and we still have another hour to go, Exo Nation, because this is hour 1, 10 to 11, and then 11 to midnight. is our final hour each and every night right here on the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, on the X Zone Broadcast Network, coming to you on your hometown radio, Classic 1220, and streaming classic1220.ca. We'll both be back on the other side of this break, so whatever you do, don't go away. And listen, once again, the X Chronicles newspaper is still available at www. You got the address so far? www.xchronicles.net. I'm Rob McConnell. Don't go away.
Do you believe in magic in a young girl's heart? How the music can free her whenever it starts, and it's magic. If the music is groovy and makes you feel happy like an
Nation, welcome back. Catherine from the Denver, Colorado Research Society is our special guest this hour. And first of all, Catherine, thanks very much for joining us. Great having you with us. And please give my very best to the other members of your team.
Yes.
Now,
Thank you.
How do you and the members of your team protect yourself? We were kidding around before the break about, bringing spirits or attachments home with you. How do you protect yourself from actually having attachments join you or protect you throughout your investigation?
Right. Good question. So to each person, it is, personal. And I know for myself, I like to use holy water. Mm-hmm. Bo likes to use like amethyst stones. And our intern likes to use, he will use a rosary. So it's all unique and personal to each person, based on, what they believe. And, so far so good for now. I mean, back in the early days, it was not like that, but we have learned a lot since then. So
what was it like in the early days?
Back in the early days, I was very careless because, I did not have a whole lot of belief that, things were out there. So I didn't use anything for any type of protection. And I brought a lot of things home with me. And it wasn't until those lessons, of things coming home with me that I learned, I better take this serious. This is not something you want to play with.
Sure.
This is for real. And it's out there. So
what would happen when you would bring these attachments home with you? What kind of mischievous trouble would they get into?
Well, I had a shadow person stay there at my house for about a week, I want to say. I saw him 3 times. There were loud bangs on the wall. There were a lot of flies in my bedroom. There was like thousands of flies one day.
Holy.
Just appearing out of nowhere.
Thousands of flies.
Oh yes.
Oh, that must have been something to see.
Mm-hmm. And then also we got cursed by Robert the Doll. If anyone's familiar with Robert the Doll, and
well, share with our audience who Robert the Doll is.
So Robert the Doll he's a haunted doll. He was back, I believe, in the either late 1800s, early 1900s, where he's a doll that stands probably about maybe 2 feet tall, and he was made for this little boy of this family, this rich family, and it was made, I believe, by the nanny. She made this doll for him, and she would take care of him. Mm-hmm. The story goes, I think that she got upset with the family and she put a curse on the doll. So Now the doll, I believe, resides in the museum over at Key West, and you have to ask to take his picture. And they give you a meter, and if the meter goes in the red, that means no. And if it doesn't do anything at all, you can take a picture. Well, in our investigations, it's opposite. If the meter goes red, that means yes. And so I just, not thinking correctly, when I asked to take his picture when we were in Key West, it went in the red, which meant no. And I was taking all kinds of pictures of him.
Ooh.
Yeah, it wasn't well. It wasn't good. And so ever since I got home, I mean, it was just one fiasco after another. Our pets were getting sick. The sewer was just exploded. There were lights turning off and on in the shower when if you were to take a shower early in the morning, the lights would go off. But it was mainly monetary stuff. It was my vehicle would break down. It would just cost so much money. So I had to email, Robert the doll and said, I'm really sorry. I will wipe all the pictures off of my phone, and I apologize. And it felt like there was something lifted off of me after that. So it was real. It was very real to me.
It sounds like Robert the doll is something like Chucky.
Yes,
right.
But he stays in this this container, and there's letters all over the walls of please take the curse off. Please take the curse off. So apparently I'm not the only one that he has cursed.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So
what does your family think about the work that you do as a paranormal investigator?
Well, my daughter, she's very, she was very apprehensive for the longest time, just saying be careful.
Sure.
Because when, like the water faucet would just turn on by itself, and she would scare her. Whereas, I might have gotten a little, excited, but it's scary, for them. So, just to be careful. And over the years, you do learn, learn to be very careful, very respectful, because there is something out there, and I can't tell you what that is, but just be respectful, be careful.
Have you ever been accused of making things worse after your investigation?
Yes, actually we have, but I do give them a heads up that that might happen. And, before we do anything, we've got to get the okay on that it might get worse. And there were times where they said, yes, it did get worse, but then it subsided. So
if something gets worse, what do you do? Go back and try and figure out why it went worse, or does it just go away with time?
No. It goes away with time. So that kind of comes back to how do we help them? And the way we help them is, we want to find out, first of all, like who it is, who are you, what's going on? Do you have a message for the people in the home? And then if we get all these positives, whether it's the spirit box, the EMF readers, maybe an EVP, we get a lot of positives. Then when I present that to them, all I can tell them is, okay, there might be a message here, but there's typically a message that they will get. And that's what the spirit is trying to tell them. So they need to work with that message. And then if it happens to get worse, they need to call us back. But so far, they follow our advice, is just, try to find out what you need to do in the living. What do you need to do to satisfy what is the message? So it could be like someone just passed away,
right,
and they have a problem with, maybe there's the deed of the home, needs to go to someone in particular. And then when we give them that message, they are like, oh yes, that's right, we are having problems with the deed of this home. So then it's like, if it doesn't subside, because they need to get their message across, if it doesn't subside, then you call us back, and then we will find out what we need to do. But typically it will subside.
Catherine, I guess my last question for you tonight is, because time is going by so fast, and thanks for being here again, is if somebody's listening to the show tonight who has an encounter with a presence in their home, would you advise them to confront it, or to call somebody who is used to the paranormal and dealing with spirits, ghosts, shadow peoples, or whatever?
Yeah, I would definitely not confront it. I would definitely not address it. I always tell everyone that reaches out, journal it. And, if we see some consistency there, then yes, we will have to come over. And, but if it goes away, it'll just go away, but never confront it unless you are a professional in this type of business, because you could just make it worse.
Have you ever heard of somebody having haunted dreams, recurring haunted dreams?
I haven't, but I've heard of recurring dreams, but not haunted dreams.
Well, why I'm asking that is I've heard from other people that sometimes spirits, whether good or bad, try to communicate with you in your sleep. So I was figuring, if it's a past relative who's trying to communicate, and if they can, then a negative entity would do the same, and instead of haunting you in the waking hours, they would haunt you in the sleeping hours.
And I do believe, yes, in the first, that yes, you can be contacted through dreams, but there's a between the good and the evil. And Rob, I have to be honest, I've never encountered evil, so I can't speak on behalf of that.
Well, that's because the ghosts have told the negative entities, watch out for Catherine. She's going to find you. Catherine, quickly tell our listeners how they can find out more about you and the Denver Paranormal Research Society.
Yes. You can just go to www.denverparanormal.com, and at the bottom of our page we have a contact us form that you fill out, and if you have any questions, we'll be more than happy to help. We assess photos, we assess videos, and then we just offer advice as well.
Now, I've got about 30 seconds here, but I also understand you've authored a self-published book entitled A Simple Guide to Help Me Determine If I Have Paranormal Activity in My Home. And where can people get a copy of that?
Yes, and you can get that also on the website.
Catherine, it's been a delight talking to you. Thank you very much for taking time out of your day to join us here on the X Zone, and we look forward to the next time we meet. But until then, happy hauntings.
Yes, thank you very much. I thank you very much for having me.
You take care of it. Oh, thank you very much. You take care of yourself now.
Thank you.
All right, X Zone Nation, my guest this hour has been Catherine. She is with the Denver Paranormal Research Society, and their website is denverparanormal.com. I'll be back on the other side of this quick break as the hour number 2 edition of tonight's show takes place here in the X Zone with yours truly, Rob McConnell. We're coming to you on the X Zone Broadcast Network and on your hometown radio, Classic 1220, streaming around the world on classic1220.ca. And for other shows that are produced by the X Zone Broadcast Network, just go to www.xzbn.net. We'll be back with guest number 2 after this break.
Never believe it's not so. It's magic, you know. Never believe it's not so. Never been away.